Sunday morning. Well, hopefully the sun is shining. And with us today is Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, the only Republican Congresswoman or Congressperson in the five boroughs in New York City. And, Nicole, the sun is shining. What do you think?
Well, the sun is shining, John, but unfortunately we saw Albany moving forward with a state budget that we believe is big and bloated and absolutely unaffordable to the taxpayers of this state. $265 billion, which is absolutely insane, is more than double what the state of Florida spends, and the state of Florida has millions of more residents. So we're disappointed.
Congresswoman, I know you long enough that before you were Congresswoman, Nicole, the key item is all of Florida for 24 million people is 119 billion. New York City alone for 8.5 million people is 130 billion. New York State, besides New York City, is 269 billion. So the question is, in one of the big problems when I talked to people yesterday was the Medicaid or Medicare, which one, it went to 125 billion, and Florida is only like 33 billion. And New York State.
Yeah, that's the Medicaid program.
The
John.
Medicaid program. So somebody has to find out, because business people are leaving New York, and people are worried about New York.
Yeah, look, when I was in the state legislature, John, the budget was around 125 billion, 150 billion. So in essence, it's gone up $100 billion, nearly double in the last decade. It's very disturbing, and Medicaid is the major driver to this, because when the state decided to do the Medicaid expansion program, that really drove up the cost, because there's a lot of fraud in that program. And this is exactly what we talk about in Washington, right? You have the president, Republican Congress. We've exposed it in my committee, House Ways and Means, the hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud throughout the country. And the main states that they have targeted, it's New York, it's Minnesota, it's California, and they're even going after Florida. But look, the thing is that when you crack down on this fraud, you ensure that you're not only protecting the taxpayer money, but you're making sure that the money's actually going for their intended purpose. The disabled, the most vulnerable, the people who truly need it, our senior citizens. That's what the program was intended for, and you have a bunch of fraudsters who we've exposed in our committee time and again. We're seeing the Department of Justice take action and prosecute those people. So we're seeing the Trump administration take this seriously, and it's so critical, because the program will go bankrupt if we don't go after the fraudsters who are trying to fleece the taxpayers of this country and our state.
And I'm worried. And you were the only Republican Congresswoman that's speaking out, and they tried to destroy you too.
Well, look, John, every time I've run for re-election, this is my third re-election, they've tried to change my district map in an illegal way to tilt the scale and steal the seat and silence the voice of the people of Staten Island and Brooklyn. We defeated them once again in court this year, and we've preserved our map, so we do have a fair seat. Now, people should remember, by the way, that this seat was lost in 2018 to a Democrat. It flipped to a Democrat in the last Trump midterm, and that's why it is so important that we work hard to preserve this district in the election, and I think we'll do very well with the support of New Yorkers. And we built we delivered on the things that we've said we were going to do, John. We said we were going to secure the border. We said we were going to deport the criminals. We said we were going to rein in waste, fraud, and abuse to protect our taxpayers. We are delivering on
common
those things,
sense,
including the tax cuts that we passed this year.
Nicole, we want common sense to prevail for all New Yorkers, and right now it's not happening.
That's right. And you know who I met with this week, John, who I think is a really somebody with common sense. And yes, we are of different parties. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch. I went to go see her today. As you know, I'm a big backer of the Blue. I've delivered millions of dollars for our NYPD, for equipment, for the K9 unit, for vehicles, and other things. And, I met with her, and she's doing a great job. Despite the politics of our mayor, despite the stupid laws being passed in Albany, she's managed to not just, and they're hiring more cops, which is critical. Staten Island's going to get more police officers as a result. Brooklyn, we're not going to, sometimes they've raided my district and taken cops from my district to move them to other parts of Brooklyn. That's not going to happen this year. That's great news. They're, they really cracked down not only on violent crimes like murder, but they've cracked down on car thefts. I was proud to deliver some money a couple of years ago for license plate readers to track down stolen vehicles, and that has proven to have been a success in driving down.
I think I contributed to the New York Police Foundation for that.
Well, John, you're a big supporter of the police. I mean, I know how much work you do with our police athletic league, and more importantly, you use the airwaves to support common sense policies. And our men and women, they need elected officials to support them. They need the public to support them because, unfortunately, there are so many out there who demonize our police. And here comes our governor, by the way, passing legislation to further tie the hands of
that's
police.
Going to take additional. That's going to take additional thoughts to talk about. But thank you for calling in this Sunday morning, and may the sun shine for New York. And we love America. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. God bless America.